Historically speaking, the term argot referred to the language, or more appropriately to the slang of criminals who used it in order not to be understood by the policemen. This linguistic phenomenon appeared in the 13th century inside Le Jeu de Saint-Nicolas in 1200, but it is a police document of 1426 which, for the first time, explicitly confirms the existence of a special language. The first precise information was provided in the 15th century by François Villon when he used argot to compose his ballads dedicated to the courtiers. This name identified a specific category of criminals whose origins were linked to a criminal gang that was called La Coquille. François Villon's ballads are very important evidence from a linguistic point of view, since they tell the story of criminals using the secret language. As previously mentioned, argot was once considered a cryptic language used by criminals. Having a purpose of secrecy, this lexical phenomenon consists in creating synonyms of commonly used words in order to prevent them from being understood by non-members of the group. It is known that there is not a single argot. Every geographical and social reality has its own characteristic linguistic tools. Between the different argot we register Verlan, which is actually the French word à l'envers, backwards or reversed, is considered a game language that involves breaking up original French words at their syllables and consonants and reversing them. For example, français, French, becomes c'est and merci, thank you, becomes cime. Another argot is the louche bam, that was the jargon of the 19th century Parisian butchers. At first sight, this verbal form may seem difficult and incomprehensible. In reality, its word formation does follow some rules. The consonants at the beginning of the word are placed at the end. The letter L is placed at the beginning, and there is a suffix added. Also, the term louche bam came from this phenomenon. In fact, boucher, butcher, became louche, and finally louche bam. An example of word from the old louche bam is gigot, leg, that became ligogem. In constant evolution, all the jargons use a considerable number of formation processes. These processes are at the basis of lexical formation and stylistic processes. One of the most common lexical processes is truncation. We find this phenomenon in terms such as métro for metropolitan, underground. There are two types of truncation. The apocope, which consists of the fall of a phonetic vowel or a syllable in the final word, for example, tournois, Verlanov, voiture, car becomes tourve, or tesi, Verlanov, cité, outskirts becomes tes. And diaphoresis, a linguistic phenomenon which consists in the fall of a vowel or a syllable at the beginning of a word. For example, contrôleur, controller, became leur, or inspector becomes ter. The metaphor that consists in replacing a proper term with a figurative one, for example, bavard, from the Old French baver, indicates a person who speaks a lot, who expresses himself indiscreetly. In argot, this term is used to indicate a lower. And the metonymy, another rhetorical figure that involves replacing a term with another that has a relationship of closeness with the first, implementing a sort of transfer of meaning. For example, bleu makes reference to the uniform of the policeman, and by metonymy indicates the cop. In the 1980s arises the contemporary argot. Currently, with the massive urbanization of the periphery and the creation of large working-class neighborhoods to accommodate the populations of workers and employees, mainly immigrants. For this reason, contemporary argot is strongly influenced by the presence of terms from foreign languages. In fact, we find terms like kiffe from the Arabic word kaif that means appreciate. Contemporary argot contributed decisively to the creation of an interlanguage between the dominant circulating vernacular French language and the whole of the vernacular that contribute to the creation of the linguistic mosaic of the French suburbs.